Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Money Matters with myself, Randy Mendez-Para, with the Mendez Home Team at eXp Realty, accompanied by Sharon Thompson at Alameda Home Mortgage. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fabulous. And yourself?
I am fantastic. I'm excited. I actually am doing a little bathroom project remodel, and I'm going to go shopping this evening or tomorrow for that. And so I'm pretty stoked. I'm excited. I took a couple pictures this morning in my chaos, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have I have nothing. It's a bare room. Apparently, I have a huge bathroom, like actual room, but there's nothing in it now. So, anyways, I am good to go. So, what are we talking about today?
So, we're talking about the rates are on the rise. It's the big topic right now out there. And with the rates on the rise, did you miss the boat?
Right.
And when we talk about the boat, did you miss out? What are we talking about? Did you miss the real estate boat? Did you miss the interest rate boat? Did you miss, um, what exactly did we miss? Or have you missed it?
Right. Well, and I know that when we were getting ready to go live, one of my clients commented and said, nope, I'm closing on my refi today at 2.75. And she was pretty excited about that. And last night I had dinner with a past client of ours, and you had refied them recently. And they were talking to me about, that they got that rate. And it was funny because they said, I think we're at like 2.45, we're like 2.45 or something like that. And she's like, do you think we should refinance again? Do you think our rate is too high? And then she was like, my friend said she got like 3.75, 2.375. And I was like, I definitely don't think you should refi for that. And rates have come up, right? So I kind of feel like they found a new normal, but that's your neck of the woods. So you tell me.
I mean, we thought we kind of leveled off a little bit, and then we're still seeing some uncertainty in the rate market. This is the most we've seen rates come up since since Trump was put into presidency. We saw this huge rate hike at that point. When we talk about did you miss the boat when it comes to rates or refinances, did you miss the best boat? Yeah, you probably missed the best boat. I don't think that we're going to see rates come back down to those 2.4, 2.5, 2.375, 2.625 interest rates, but we are still in the 3%, 3.25 interest rates. And I would tell you this time last year, we were putting people in 3.5, 3.625, and people couldn't have been happier. They were just at that time, those were the lowest interest rates we had seen in ever in our in our career. So people were really excited about it. So why are we upset about a 3.25? Why are we upset about a 3.375? Did you miss the refinance boat? No. No, there's still plenty of people out there at 4.25, 5% that haven't looked into it. So no, I don't think we missed the boat when it comes to interest rates, low payments, aggressive payments. We just have to put it in perspective of what became our normal over the summer
Right.
and into the holidays and what's our normal now.
Well, and I think we need to look at the historical data as well, right? Like historically, we're still talking about like record shattering low rates. And so, and I think that and we talk about this all the time, but this is just such an individualized thing. And so, even when it comes to buying, I hear, well, I feel like, I missed the opportunity to buy. And I mean, the truth is that does happen. I've shared the story before, but I have one client in particular that would just not get off the fence. They just would not get off the fence. They wouldn't lower their standards, and nothing really tremendously changed in the way of their income or their purchase power, but the market did change. And at that time we could get them into the market, and today that we can't. And so I think that this is, again, it goes back to how individual it is. It's important because I don't think you should wait. I don't think you should try to time the market, period, right? Like, I don't think you should try to time it for your purchase. I don't think you should try to time it for your rate. I think at the end of the day, you need to make decisions. And even, in the threes, it might make total sense. And you probably can still afford to buy for less than you can afford to rent, right? And so I think that you need to just look at that number. And I think that, it's interesting to me how people will say, well, I'm going to save more and I'm going to wait to see what happens with the rates. Like, I think that it's interesting that sometimes we will roll the dice with such a large asset. I believe in real estate. It's the way that the majority of individuals make their wealth. And it's interesting to me that you can have a tangible situation here, basically saying, okay, I'm looking at, 3.5% interest rate. I'm looking at X amount of payment. I'm looking at this purchase price, and I can do this. And this may not be what you love. This may not be ideal. This may not be everything, but you know what you can do. And on this hand, you're looking at, well, I'm hoping to be able to save some money. I'm hoping interest rates won't, come up a ton. I'm hoping prices will come down, and I'm going to go with this one. Like, that's just interesting to me, because I get that this may not be everything you want, but you know what it is. And you're going to come over here and you're just going to hope. And that is how I honestly feel like, I've only seen a handful of people truly miss the boat, truly, to where that's it. You're not. I have 2 or 3 people in my entire career. They're not getting into this market. They have no purchase power left, none. And they missed it by that exact example there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that we have to, once again, it's always changing our thought process, right? So I talked about when Trump got into the presidency, we saw the biggest rate hike in a short period of time that we have seen in a long time. You being in the industry at that time, me being in the industry at that time, we really saw buyers go back home. They crawled back into their house and they said, "Oh, rates are so high. They're in the fours. I don't want to buy." That lasted about 60 days. And once everybody got used to that being our new normal, people came back out to buy. When we talk about, did you miss the boat on purchasing a home? No, you didn't. And we talk about, have we hit the top of the market? Have we topped out at purchase prices? Are we going to finally see that correction that we've been talking about for 3 years? The correction that still hasn't happened. Once again, we have to look at, once we quit getting 10 plus over asking offers, then we could talk about a possible correction in the market, which we're not talking about. Once again, did you miss out on a sub 3% interest rate? Probably. If you can get a sub 3% interest rate now, I would say you're very lucky. They are still out there, but not really. But they're still below 3.5, which is amazing, which is still huge purchase power, which is still an unbelievable rate. It is still time to buy. You did not miss the boat, but like we talked about earlier, the boat is taking off. They're throwing the ropes in, they're waving goodbye, they're blowing the horn. So are we going to get on the boat, or are we going to wait again? For what are we waiting for?
This is when you lean into your professionals and you say, hold the boat, hold it. I'm running to the dock, hold the boat. Don't let it go without me. Right. And I think it's important. Again, it's interesting to me because obviously through my other company, I have, a lot of national relationships, and every single day I'm talking to agents across the country at a high level. And, we're seeing these mass exodus happen from, states like California into Texas and into, Nevada. And here's what I will say. I just think that this is the time to really evaluate what is best for your family and really what you're trying to do and where you're trying to do it at. Because I just feel like a lot of people right now have a lot of thoughts and they're kind of tossing stuff around like, oh, maybe I'll do this. I'm working with probably, 10 or 15 clients right now that are kind of like, well, I'm thinking about doing land here. I'm thinking about doing this here. I don't know, maybe I'll do this over here. But I think this is the time to actually dig your heels in, take advantage of what are still very low rates, get very intentional, very focused, and actually take action, right? That's what I think the time is to do right now. And I do have another question for you, Sharon. And this is a little bit off topic, but it came up last night. So a lot of people are refining and they're getting really pumped to see a reduction in their payment, but they're equally getting, a lot of my clients are getting really excited because that time frame for PMI to be over is decreasing, right? So I had a client tell me, my PMI was going to take me 11 years, and now it's only going to take me 6. And so it was interesting to me. I was just kind of listening to that. But what is that? I want them to hear it from you. What does that look like? Because that doesn't just fall off, right? It's not like all of a sudden they just get a notice and it's like, oh, there's no more PI, right? So PMI. So what does that process look like for them?
So the process looks like it has to be a true refinance because your PMI is based off of your appraised value. So when you appraised your house when you bought it, that is what we're looking at. So the only way to reduce that PMI is to get that new appraised value on your home. And back in the day, lenders would say, okay, get an appraisal, we'll rewrite that PMI. And they did that for a long time. And then we had the huge housing crash, which means that all these houses that they just get an appraisal in and they remove the PMI, boom, crashed. And when they crashed, now they're underwater with no PMI. So there's no protection for the lenders that this house is covered if they foreclose. They got rid of all that foreclosure protection with just an appraisal, no refinance. So now they're truly making people do a full refinance now with an appraisal. And for a small cost and closing costs that are typically rolled into the loan with the appreciation that we've seen, it is still recommended to do that refinance, especially if you can keep your rate somewhat the same, or anybody that bought, I would say, from this point on to early or later. I think not anybody that's bought in the last 6 months, but prior to that, because like I said, this time last year we were looking at 3.5s. Well, if we're looking at 3.25, and we can either get rid of PMI or reduce it, it's going to be worth the savings.
Yeah. And I think that was exactly it. I wanted to make sure because I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to refinance. I don't think it just is like a magic day that happens. But again, we say this all the time. And this is the biggest thing is I think that what it is time to do, it is time to lean into your professionals. It is time to buckle down and really figure out what you're doing. I have another handful of clients that, I have one family in particular that they were always getting ready to get ready. And they were like, well, we're going to talk to a lender soon. And I never could get them. I was like, hey guys, listen, it's better to have a roadmap and know where you're going than it is to think you know where you're going without a roadmap. And I never could get them there. And now the rental market is just beating them up and we don't have another option. And so I think what's really important is that you do buckle down and you get informed and you know what your options are. And you make sure that you set realistic expectations for yourself so you don't miss your boat. I think that is I'm going to just mic drop right there. I'm going to mic drop right there. Don't miss your boat, right? It's not about missing your neighbor's boat. It's not about missing the guy down the street boat. Don't miss your boat for what takes you to where your boat is going, right? So that's, I feel like that sums it up. And if you don't already have experts and, professionals in the industry that are really coming alongside you and empowering you with information, options, and helping you to look at this from an aerial view and really understand all of the moving parts, then we would love to earn that opportunity to get to be that team or individual to do that. We're not a package deal. While we love working together, if you need one and not the other, that's okay as well. So as always, my direct cell phone number is 775-379-8344. And Sharon, how do they get a hold of you?
949-201-8940.
Yep. So we would be honored to help you out. Let us know if you need anything, and also keep the comments coming and let us know what we can bring to you. We'll be back here again next week for another episode of Money Matters. Bye, guys.